Back again with some August of 1999 Gamesmaster magazine review slash retro review, I should say. So we're on page 14, and at the new section it says Stop Press. Insiders have confirmed no Pocket Station in the UK. So basically, the Pocket Station was like a visual memory unit, similar type device that the Dreamcast had, and anything to do with Sony, they tend to copy the opposition quite frequently. Dual Shock analog controller. Stop Press UK Silent Hill to have certain monsters censored. Ooh, spooky. So what we've got here, Half-Life mini mission discovers others' worlds. PC's bestseller Half-Life is to return to the form of Half-Life Chronicles. Rather than an ordinary follow-up, Half-Life Chronicles is a series of single-player missions that can be downloaded via the internet. Oh, I wonder if that would ever take off. Featuring both alternative worlds and continuations of Half-Life events. Each episode is a standalone set of missions assembling from a new radioactive software website sometime in July. The catch, you'll need at least a 1009 version of the game to run the new missions. I wonder if you can play that now on a Raspberry Pi. Possibly. So let's see what we've got here then. At last, your steps keyring shall be mine. Keyring. Steps being a popular pop type group here in the UK from late 90s. A whole new set of scenarios is yours to explore. Coolio, what's the blazes as this soon shall be revealed? Wahaha. Needless to say, there's a whole new set of bad guys to spat with guns. Beetlejuice, I guess is don't stand in the sparky bit. Got the net? Go on one of their later versions of Half-Life. Hey, you're in business. Got the net. You don't hear that much these days. Quake Beta. First person blaster for PC hits slaps consoles. Unreal, one of the first person shooters to upstage Quake on PCs, being brought on to the PlayStation by GT Active. What a result. The truly glory of the PC version of Unreal was that it managed to look prettier than Quake, and yet it remained just as fast, groovy and gory. In an arsenal, flat cannons, razors, jackets, 8-ball launchers, and desperation pistols ensured carnage of the highest order. While its supremely intelligent creatures, damn those skinjans and titans, provide just as eager to dodge your fire as it were to pay you back with some ass-toting mischief of their own. The real question is, what kind of multiplayer options will it support? The clever money is on a split-screen 2-player, but if it does manage to squeeze to a 4-player option, it could give Unreal the edge over its big-name rival. That is admittedly looking very sick indeed. It's still early days, but we'll bring you more soon. So basically, don't know too much about Unreal, but I know a little bit about Quake, and I think it was Quake 2 that came on the PlayStation 1. Quite a good game, actually. Quite a good port. I've seen some videos lately, and it still seems to have held up pretty fine, even though, it's 2024, so you're looking at, 25 years now ago? A quarter of a century. Superstars turn. New ISS games. N64 gets RPG mode. The best console foot game ever is to make a comeback. Goal. A new international superstar soccer game is set to appear on the PlayStation, N64 and Game Boy Color. The surprising news that on the PlayStation at least, the new ISS will appear in two forms, ISS Pro Evolution and ISS Pro Millennium. While the first will be an update of the ISS Pro 98, Millennium will be an all-new titles developed by the team by the cracking N64 ISS games. Both the N64 and PlayStation versions of Evolution will be more varied moves, more responsive controls, and should include special effects on the mean lightning conditions of the pitch change as your virtual 90 minutes tick by. N64 owners can look forward to a unique playing option called Success Mode, an RPG-style mode that allows you to build your dream team across a season play. Evolution will be out in September. Got a little bit of disclaimer here. I think round about this time, I actually only watched the only football match ever from start to finish. And it was when Manchester United won the Triple Crown. I think it was the European Championship. And I remember it because that's the first and so far only time I've ever actually watched a football match from start to finish. I am not into football in the slightest. It's just never appealed to me. Right, so the competition winners. I wonder what's happened to these on. We've had a flood of entries for our recent competitors, but after mass debating long into the night, we were able to announce the lucky winners. Big Competition 81. This is one had an absolute huge response. She was asked to design the wrestling match of your fantasies. Many of the entries received were astonishing, making it even trickier to pick the winners. First prize goes to Nicholas Lawton of Congleton for his mask incorporating a mini Les. He wins a PlayStation WWF goodies. That's actually not a bad competition. Congleton, yes. I wonder what happened to that bloke. If you're watching this now, please get in touch. The runners-up each receive a copy of WWF Attitude and the latest WWF videos. They are Jared, John Midglorman, Alex Howard, York, Tim Reed, Wellingborough, Anthony Bezies, Burnley, Robert Goats, North Wales. Figures compo. Before we asked to send in photos of yourself dressed as your favourite video games characters, we never released so many of our ideas like cross-dressing. Each of the 5 winners receive a big bunch of gaming figurines. So you got Mike Jarvis from Liverpool, Jamie Tuck from Chesterfield, Ian Mattress Wellington, Virginia Ringle Beadle, and Michael Sazzle eats Bridgebud. I think that's a Mortal Kombat player. Big competition number 82. We asked you to come up with the pad of control of your dreams. Each received a huge bundles of pads and stuff. PC, Adam Chugs, Barsley, Bar Sample. PlayStation, Stephen Pollard Leeds. N64, Andrew Young, Birmingham. Gamesmaster actually did win a Dreamcast and the Sonic game. Like it was going to be like one of the first Dreamcasts in the country, and some guy actually he did this amazing art piece. If I've got a picture of it somewhere, I will actually show you. I think it's in one of the other magazines that I've got. Well, he won it, and the best thing about it was just fair place to him. He actually got on the course. I don't know if it was for college or university for art, and he did very well out of it. I mean, I'd love to know what happened to him, but winning a Dreamcast back then, it was the equivalent of, let's say, winning a PlayStation 6 now, even though the PlayStation 6 hasn't even arrived yet. But let's be honest, the latest incarnation of PlayStation, it's very thin on decent games that are exclusive to this era. Except for the Nintendo Switch, of course, but let's not go there. The PlayStation redesigns. So PlayStation loses ports, cheat cards stuffed. Shock news has emerged. Sony are redesigning the PlayStation again. The first PlayStation redesign took place before it arrived in the UK, removing a costly S-video output from Japan. The next changes were simply to simplify the circuitry inside and give that hot CD drive more room to breathe. At the same time, the machine lost its phono outputs. Next came changes making the machine impossible to chip, preventing illegal tampering and playing of important pirate discs. And now the expansion port has gone, a port which offers the PlayStation expansion capabilities that was never used by Sony themselves. However, it's been used by countless third parties hardware, the Action Replay and Explorer cartridges, which now won't work on the new machines. The first generation PlayStation S-video socket was the first part to go, followed by the 3 phono sockets 2 years later. And then and here's the latest casualty: the removal of the expansion port on the latest machines means you can't use add-ons. Oh dear. So basically what it is the original PlayStation had various ports. That bit there, you kind of like peeled off. There was like a faceplate you had to take off, and that used to stick in the back of that, and you could basically sort of override the operating system security, and you could play mostly copy games as well as imports. I actually knew a friend who had a I don't know if it was a chipped PlayStation, but he had a chipped one, and he actually had the Explorer card inside as well, so we could play games that was copied games until his PlayStation went boom. Literally. Scandal monger, Sega's to snub ECTS. With this year's ECTS show in London fast approaching, Sega's yet to confirm whether or not it will be making an appearance on the show. Sony and Nintendo will definitely be at the 3-day event in September, though, as well as SNK, who will be launching the European version of its Neo Geo Pocket. So, so basically, with E3 basically dying, there was quite a few other game type shows, especially in the late 90s. Late 90s was a haven for it. I mean, you had E3, which was one, and obviously you had the European ECTS show. Personally speaking, I would like to have gone to E3, but something tells me the scalpers would have had a huge amount on their hotels. So, Robocop returns. Titus has recently acquired the rights to produce a new batch of 5 Robocop games. The games will be appearing on the PlayStation 64, PC, Dreamcast, Game Boy, and even the Apple Mac. Blimey. Well, that's the first. In all the years I've been reading Gamesmaster magazine, that's the first time an Apple machine was actually written about in a gaming magazine, because obviously Apple doesn't really do gaming, which I don't blame them. The upgraded version of Metal Gear Solid called VR Missions will probably be released in October for as little as $29.99, as well as featuring new missions. It also features the new models for the full game included. Review next month. And then we've got Latties, love to knock it back before they have the cover, Vinto. So yeah, the original PlayStation had the virtual missions. And no fairness, I think I got more more playability, speak English, out of the VR missions than I did actually the actual game. Although, yeah, it's not been a bad series. So that's it, folks. That's up to page 14, up to 15. Let's see what's on next one. And in my next one, we're going to start talking about mobile phones with Game Boy. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.